Good morning, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and now you're all having a great day. There's a lot to cover, so let's begin. A recent report released by the Policy Department of the European Parliament explains how central bank-issued cryptocurrencies outcompete Bitcoin. A recent report from the Policy Department of the European Parliament titled "Competition Issues in the Area of Financial Technology" warns about some of the challenges Bitcoin will have to overcome. Interesting. The report requested by the Econ Committee claims that digital currencies issued by central banks will have a substantial impact on the current cryptocurrency market. It said, and I do quote, "The arrival of permissioned cryptocurrencies promoted by banks, even by central banks, will reshape the current competition level in the cryptocurrency market, broadening the number of competitors," end quote. What's more, the report differentiates privately issued digital currencies such as Bitcoin from those issued by central banks, pinning them against one another. According to the study, central and commercial banks could essentially price out Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies by blocking access to exchanges or wallets for the users or by instituting denials of service. I want you to hear exactly what I just said and pay attention to this article. Furthermore, the report noted that the market power of banks in traditional banking services can be harnessed to limit competition in the cryptocurrency market through preemptive acquisitions or predatory pricing schemes. The study goes on to differentiate two different types of competition issues: those which take place between cryptocurrencies as part of the inter-cryptocurrency market, and those between the service providers, such as exchanges and wallets, referring to as intra-cryptocurrency market issues. When it comes to intra-cryptocurrency market issues, the report concludes that large networks might pose a distinct barrier to entry for other market participants who attempt to join the market. This may lead to potential collusive agreements between members of hypothetical cartels. A couple of days ago, we spoke about the thing that happened in Congress. There were, I think, 2 or 3 meetings, and then the thing that happened over the weekend between the G20 countries, pretty much stating that they believed that crypto was not a threat at the moment, and therefore there was no need to meet the July deadline of giving proper framework for how they were going to deal with cryptocurrencies. And then just a couple of days later, we have news that the EU Parliament is talking about exactly how banks do not have to fear cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin in particular, as it is the #1 coin, and how even central bank issued cryptocurrencies could snuff out Bitcoin. I'm sure you, part of my problem that I've had, I love cryptocurrencies, and I'm sure a lot of you do as well. We have a problem in the cryptocurrency community. I don't care if you don't believe that this doesn't exist. Tribalism has become such an issue. I was listening to a podcast, and I was listening to, it wasn't even a podcast, it was something on TV, but they were talking about cryptocurrencies and how the market is and how people within the cryptocurrency space are to each other. We have a major problem, and I think what central banks and other entities want to happen is working out extremely perfectly as they want them to. Instead of, when I got into cryptocurrencies, there was a huge thing where everyone, we were all together. You know, we didn't have that many coins. And even if you were into Vertcoin or WorldCoin or Itcoin or Litecoin or Bitcoin or any other coin that was out there, it was totally fine as long as you were in the cryptocurrency community. What's happening now is that people are so obsessed with the coins that they have in comparison to the coins that someone else has that I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it in the comment section below between people calling me names for talking about certain coins. It's not that I know that a lot of people tell me not to worry about it. It doesn't really bother me. It bothers me in the sense that, you know, you can say whatever you want about me. I don't know you. You don't know me. But when you tear each other apart, this is exactly what they want, because all that kind of has to end up happening is that they've stated it in the documents here, everything that I just read. They know exactly how to pin markets against each other. The cryptocurrency market is so young and so new. We've seen our market be able to be manipulated simply by countries releasing statements that later ended up being false, or people ended up putting out news that wasn't correct either. And the market dipped, especially at the beginning of the year, by 10-15% just based off of fear. When banks and governments finally decide to create their own permissioned cryptocurrencies promoted by banks, I think they will have a relatively easy time snuffing out the cryptocurrency market because there's no unity. And I'm sure there are people, scoffing at me saying that, as you may not think it is noteworthy or important. The way that the cryptocurrency market is right now, it can easily be dismantled simply by not even them having to ban it. They can say that we can do whatever we want in crypto. It's very easy to manipulate the news. It's very easy to spread some type of rumor. I've tried to, I hate the word FUD, but I'm sure you've seen me try to at least dispel a large part of a large number of videos, whether it be about what's happening with XRP, what's happening with EOS, what's happening with so many other coins. It's relatively easy to drive down the price of something, and I'm pretty sure a lot easier to actually be able to do this for the entire market as well. The fact that they have noted that they are pretty sure that they can release crypto that's owned by central banks or other banks and be able to push down the price of Bitcoin and or destroy it or have their coin be the market leader is something that we should all be worried about. I don't see a future where people in the cryptocurrency space are more unified. I think this is going to happen for a very long time. I understand that making money is the #1 priority in the cryptocurrency space, but you cannot try to tear other projects down or other people down simply because it is not the coin that you hold. We're going to have a problem in the next couple of years. We even saw this before during the Congress meeting where they were talking about the European Central Bank creating their own cryptocurrency and that it's, superseding the US dollar. This is clearly something that they've been talking about for a very long time. I try to explain to people the entire point of the regulations and how long it's taking for them to regulate. Excuse me for my language, but it's complete BS. These countries and these governments know exactly how they're going to label everything, the exact framework for everything. It's been around 8-9 months now since we've had any proper clarification as to what this is or what X, Y, and Z is. They know exactly what they're going to do, but they're waiting because I have a strong feeling that by the end of this year, sometime in 2019, we're going to have some type of news that some central government or central bank is creating their own cryptocurrency. And they're going to try and make sure, especially if all these people are in cahoots with each other, they're going to try and make sure that their coin is probably listed, price-wise, not for trading, maybe even for trading, but price-wise on Bloomberg and Forbes and all these other places so that it can be dominant. I hope you understand what I'm saying. We're entering we're in this like gray space right now in the cryptocurrency space where people are more focused on what they have as opposed to unity as an entire thing. This is why a while back Vitalik Buterin said that he was thinking about leaving the cryptocurrency space. Charlie Lee also said that one time as well. We're no longer about pushing the cryptocurrency space forward. It's about how quick can I make my money so that I can get rich and that I can leave the cryptocurrency space. Crypto is going to be absolutely massive. You have to understand when they have meetings like this, it's not because crypto is going to be dead in 2 or 3 years. It's predicted. A lot of analysts are saying that they expect, even if it's not Bitcoin, even if it's not XRP, crypto is going to be around for a very long time. Our kids will probably be transacting in cryptocurrencies, whether that be central bank issued or even Bitcoin or any other one that we actually have right now. This is going to be something that's going to be completely monolithic. This is why there's so much discussion around this. I did not mean to spend too much time on this topic, but it needed to be said, and I'll keep saying it again every single time I see huge rifts. I look at the comment section, and I'm pretty sure it may have died down for this one video, but it'll come back with a vengeance in the next video. We are going to be pushed back by central banks and other cryptocurrency entities that are heavily centralized, and you'll see more. This isn't the only story that's kind of like this. I ask you to pay attention when things like this are happening, especially in certain stories, because they're incredibly relevant. When I choose the news, I don't choose. A lot of people keep saying in the comment section that they're tired of the news that I'm talking about. I'm sorry that it's not as rosy and as beautiful as you would like it to be. We are in a transitional period where cryptocurrencies are or have been going down for a number of months. We're trying to figure out the market. We have governments who are pushing back against us, who are telling us that they're either trying to ban it, they don't want us to have, and they want to ban mining cryptocurrencies. These are very significant. You have to understand that this is all a power play. Crypto is poised to become a multi-trillion-dollar market, and this is a huge issue for world governments. There's a reason why they're talking about creating their own cryptocurrencies. If cryptocurrency wasn't a problem to them, or they didn't see it becoming a problem in the future, especially a coin that went from 10 cents to $8,000 to $20,000 over the course of a 7, 8, 9 year period, this is a huge problem for them, and it's going to become a huge problem for us when governments figure out a way to create their own coins. This is why we've had talk about as well that they're trying to look into Ethereum to creating their own digital bank cryptocurrencies on top of it. This is not going to die away. This is not going to go away very quickly. I was reading something a couple of days ago, and it was very interesting. They were saying, they were talking about there's so many people who are into the cryptocurrency space who got in around December, who pretty much, they plan on, the moment Bitcoin hits $20,000 again, and the coins that they bought before end up hitting the price that they got it in the first place, they plan on leaving the market. And they were saying there's such a lack of foresight in the cryptocurrency market. Everyone is just looking to get rich right now. Everyone just wants their money right now. There are so many big players in this game. When cryptocurrency becomes a $1 trillion market, it's only going to accelerate from there. It's believed that the first trillionaires that we will have on this planet will be from cryptocurrency. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the separation of wealth between not even the haves and have-nots. Is going to be the haves and haves absolutely nothing. We're going to enter a world where everything is digitized, and the only money that you'll be able to make is online. And this is why cryptocurrency is such a significant part. This is why I said, please pay attention. You know, you can be lackadaisical when I read other things, but this is going to be an issue for all of us. I think eventually crypto will win out. I don't know if the coins that we have in the top 10 right now will end up being the same coins in the top 10 in 10 years. But I think we are, I'm sure you can see it as well. We're going to enter a space where everything is just digital, and digital currencies are going to be a major player. So this is why it is, you know, there's so many people who plan on exiting the market the moment, you know, they break even and whatever, you know, this is kind of where we are right now in the cryptocurrency space. This is going to completely change a lot of lives for a lot of people. And we now have world governments holding discussions amongst themselves where they're talking about how to stamp out something that is going to be a problem for them. I'm sure you can see the weight and the gravity of this situation. Next up, India is in the news. In a first, India's central bank has called for the regulation of the domestic cryptocurrency sector during Friday's hearing at the Supreme Court, weeks after enforcing a ban against crypto companies. Earlier in April, the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, issued a circular that forbade all financial institutions, banks included, from offering services to businesses in the cryptocurrency sector. Furthermore, the policy also mandated banks to stop customers from purchasing cryptocurrencies using fiat funds in their bank accounts. So the fact that we now have the central bank asking the government to allow cryptocurrencies ties completely into this, because if everyone is restricted from using digital currency or using protocols online, this stops the central bank from being able to issue their own digital currency. I'm sure you can kind of see where this is going. When you forbid everyone from using something, this stops the other people who also realize that they can make money from it being able to get into the space. A public interest litigation, or a PIL, filed in India's Supreme Court calling for the regulation of cryptocurrency sector saw the central bank absolve itself of any responsibility in framing a policy, claiming it was a policy matter requiring legislation through India's parliament rather than a subject of debate among courts. Amazingly, the RBI then admitted that it, as a central bank responsible for framing monetary policies in the country, conducted no research nor consultation before enforcing the prohibitive policy in keeping banks from offering services to cryptocurrency businesses and exchanges. What I think is happening is there are a number of countries we spoke about for when it comes to the G20 countries and them having the entire conversation. Depending on how strong or how weak your country is, you still have some type of access to these meetings. You may not be in the main chamber, but you end up knowing exactly what's going on afterwards. I am extremely certain that there's a huge push right now, or the mindset that something happened during those meetings. We won't get proper clarification as to what is happening or what happened until the end of September, sometime in October, when we possibly finally receive all the news about regulation. But there's a reason why a central bank who banned something is now asking the government to essentially unban it or allow people to do it, because cryptocurrency is a cash cow. And I'm sure a lot of people who are in it for the long run, you definitely see where this space is going. I don't need to even talk about what I just spoke about again, but I'm sure you kind of see where everything is going. We have entered a point. When I got into cryptocurrencies, banks hated crypto. They hated anything that was digital. They said there was no point. People would always need or want to have paper money. Why would anyone not want to use these in their pockets? India last year or the year before got rid of their larger banknotes. Because they said, I think they're trying to stop money laundering, whatever, you know, whatever the normal song is. And now we have a world where China is obsessed with blockchain. India's central bank is trying to get cryptocurrency regulated. The United States is talking about potentially, the Federal Reserve, trying to potentially create their own cryptocurrency as they've partnered with Ripple. The same thing is happening in South Korea. The same thing is happening in many other countries. I'm sure you see where this is all going. India has been a complete flip-flop. India has been exactly like Russia, where 1 week they say that they love it and then they hate it. And then the central bank is going to create their own cryptocurrency, the crypto ruble, and then they are saying that they're going to ban it. They allow institutional investors. They don't allow normal people, and then they allow normal people. And then they're talking about banning it once again. And now they're talking about proper crypto regulations over the entire country. And then there was something about a week ago where Putin said that he didn't agree with everything. It's kind of all over the place, and I think we're going to have a lot of this ups and down. I don't know if they're trying to purposely manipulate the market. I think the market is told you guys months ago when the market started going down, I said fear only lasts for so long. You can only continue to throw out negative news and hoping that it affects the markets. We've gotten to a point where the market really doesn't care about news like this anymore, but it's more so that I talk about it because it affects real people in the real world in the long run. Maybe not right now, but the point is, this is the more or less the news from India when it comes to regulating inside of their country. And I feel that the government and the central bank, they're paying close attention to what other countries are going to be doing. Because even if in September, when India says that they're going to give their final response as far as banning cryptocurrencies, even if they do decide to ban it, I don't think that ban will last for much longer. When crypto hits $1 trillion market, it's going to change the entire world monetarily as we know it. So here's the news from China today. China's Xinjiang Uyghur, autonomous region is set to eliminate illegal Bitcoin mining operations by the end of August. A government agency has confirmed to CoinDesk. Rumors first emerged online over the weekend after the leak of a government notice issued by Xinjiang's Economic and Informative Commission, or the EIC, indicating the authority was demanding that local utility companies report and shut down illegal Bitcoin mining operations. An official from the commission, a local government agency focused on technological development, confirmed the authenticity of the document to CoinDesk on Monday, saying it was drafted by the EIC's unit in charge of the region's utility issues. No further comments were provided. According to the document's definition, illegal Bitcoin miners referring to any operation that is not registered with the government as a licensed business entity or has been using electricity without formal contracts with utility firms. It further states that utility companies in the region are now tasked with the mission of shutting down unlicensed operations and reporting back to the authority on their progress by the end of August. I'm going to get to the more important part. So there was someone, it said the crackdown has already affected mining operation farms in Xinjiang. Scott Meng, the chief executive of the Canadian blockchain startup who also joint owns mining farms in the region with several partners, told CoinDesk that the government notice early this year definitely had impact on Bitcoin mining operations. He said, and I do quote, "I have two partners in the region. One has 18,000 crypto miners. The other has 40,000. They have been crying for help in the past days, urging me to look at places in the US and Canada as substitutes. But even for me, I have to get electricity first. And even in that, if I had that, we need to build farms from scratch. There's a problem where China is clamping down heavily on everything. And they are now, in the beginning, they were stepping on the necks of anything crypto. Now they're stepping on the faces, and they now have a third leg that is now pushing slowly onto the organs of cryptocurrency. The problem is, as you may have noted from my other videos, is that Bitmain is in China. And while I don't think that they may be shut down, it is a threat to the Bitcoin space, excuse me, as of now, we know that they control at least 42% of the Bitcoin mining, and it's rumored that they own a lot of these smaller mining companies, so that they potentially own already over 51% of the cryptocurrency, or rather the Bitcoin mining operations. The fact that they're clamping down on smaller ones is also an issue, because, you know, you have to look into exactly what they're deeming as illegal. What is a problem in the country? What stops the country from not being able to do A, B, and C? And how can we kind of shut them down? The fact that they've been going for I don't know, you know, for all we know, Bitmain could be in cahoots with the government at this point. You know, I'm pretty sure they are registered. But we've seen a huge shift away from cryptocurrencies and more towards blockchain, and the country trying to stamp out anything that has to do with cryptocurrencies that they do not control. So this is going to continue to be a major issue. Reading an article before about arguments now floating around in the Bitcoin space about changing Bitcoin to proof of stake, and the arguments against it pretty much come from miners saying we would not create mining pools if Bitcoin had proof of stake because we would not be able to make money. In the end, everything always comes down to money, but it's going to be interesting to see if this has a major impact on Bitcoin's ability to produce transactions as we enter September and October, as you see thousands of computers or miners have been offline or have been made to go offline, and they're now trying to find another place to be able to do this safely. The US is in the news again. The US Chamber of Commerce is interested in ICOs as a way for companies to tap capital, but only if they're regulated. The influential business lobbying group launched its FinTech Innovation Initiative last Wednesday, highlighting development in cryptocurrencies and token sales as one of the 8 FinTech principles aimed at bridging the gap between technology and Washington, D.C. The organization specifically called for increased guidance on token sales, including how to determine whether a token is a security, so companies can have more predictability and certainty in the marketplace. According to the document, the initiative wants to promote new and innovative ways to access capital, such as ICOs, while advocating for tailored oversight and strong consumer and investor protections. Entrepreneurs know all too well how difficult it is to raise the capital necessary to start or grow their businesses. The chamber continued, they said, "We urge the SEC to continue studying ICOs to see how they can be an effective tool for raising capital while protecting investors and ensuring applicable laws are met. We also urge the CFTC to study how cryptocurrency is functioning in the futures and commodities market. In both cases, we urge the agencies to regulate the products and services enabled by the technology instead of the technology itself." This is yet another piece of government or financial agency, whatever you kind of want to call them, that is now telling other agencies to get it together. There is a belief that September is or will be the beginning of the bull market, and that this is typically when not only crypto, but the financial market sees some type of push upward because of it just happens to be the time of year and everyone wants to make money after being on being on holiday for quite some time, whether the SEC or the CFTC will actually give us any type of clarity in the near future is still left to be seen. There's been a huge push or interest in ICOs. I'm sure you remember sometime last year, governments did not like ICOs, but now they are of the mindset that ICOs, not that they're going to be ending, but there's also a shift towards security token offerings, as it's expected that the SEC will probably state that a large number, they've already stated that all ICOs are securities at the moment. But when these things are, we have it on paper and everything is kind of regulated, it's believed that security tokens could actually be the next big thing. This is what I've told you guys before. Always do your own research. Being labeled a security is not a bad thing. Stocks and bonds and mutual funds are all securities. So when you get labeled a security, it literally means that you can be traded on the stock market. And it is not as bad as it sounds, because you would be a cryptocurrency company that created a coin that is then allowed to be traded on the stock market, as well as through regulated cryptocurrency exchanges that are also allowed. So you'd have a kind of a 2-for-1, if you will, when it comes to, anyway, point is not to spend, I always say not to spend too much time, because I feel like if I talk too much about a topic that people will get bored, or I don't really know. I don't know exactly how much you guys want me to ramble on. Like there's so much to be said about all of these things. I even stopped myself in the beginning report. Crypto is so much deeper than people actually think. You have to always look deeper. Even when I give you guys stories, if something piques your interest, Google it, read more about it. There's a reason why the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the SEC and the CFTC and the European Parliament, why they're talking about cryptocurrencies. Crypto is going to be absolutely massive. We've gotten to the point where crypto is no longer for nerds. When I got into crypto, my friends laughed at me because they called me a nerd. They said, who needs digital money? Who needs digital currency? We have paper money. We have cards. I can swipe my card. One of my friends joked one time when we went to Starbucks that he was able to tap his card and pay for something. And he said, why does anyone need digital currencies? And the fact that governments are now talking about it, holding huge things, and even putting off giving us regulations, this shows that the cryptocurrency space is going to be monstrous. There was something else I wanted to talk about here. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it probably came down to ICOs and something of the sort. But yeah, this is the news from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Next up, this is actually really funny, and once again, this is the third time I'm doing this. I need to thank you guys very, very much. I made 2 videos, or rather 1 video, and then a second video, the smaller video, talking about the Bitcoin ETF, and how it takes a minute and a half just to be able to email them or message them, telling them your thoughts on what you want for the Bitcoin ETF. The crypto universe has spoken. They want a Bitcoin ETF, and they want it now. As CoinDesk previously reported, the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, sought comments earlier this summer on the latest effort to get an exchange-traded fund tied to Bitcoin approval and listed. The comment period is now closed, and the SEC is ostensibly, going over the input. It's not a normal word. Input it received, but what the agency ultimately decides is anyone's guess. These are some of the comments. When I asked you guys and gals out there to give your opinion on what you thought should happen for the Bitcoin ETF and to contact the SEC, this is why I made sure to mention in the second video. I said, please be as nice and as calm as possible. I understand, this is a major thing. It's believed that the advent or the birth of a Bitcoin ETF, especially a physical Bitcoin ETF where people or companies or organizations or governments will be able to hold Bitcoin physically, in that the Bitcoin ETF will not be backed specifically by a piece of paper that can be traded back and forth. It will be, you need to hold 35,000 Bitcoin in order to make this active, whatever the case might be. These are some of the comments that people were actually listing. Adapt or die, approve Bitcoin ETF and take the leading step for advancing the human race through the revolutionary technology we have been gifted. These comments are just a snippet of the 250 that have been made in light of the proposed rule change that would, if approved, give permission to the CBOE and blockchain technology firm SolidX to launch a regulated Bitcoin ETF. So these are the ones that have actually been posted. I'm pretty sure before, I think it was noted that there were 90 that had actually been posted to the SEC website. Now we have 250. Good job, like an actual thumbs up. Before all the other Bitcoin ETFs that have been rejected, I looked at the other, not footage, the other articles about the Bitcoin ETFs in the past and why they didn't get passed. It's because there were maybe 3 comments, 3, possibly 4 on the other SEC pages that were talking about this. So the fact that we had over 90, a lot of people were noting, no, just 90, that's nothing. The fact that we had more than 10 was already a huge leap forward, but the fact that we have 250 is great that have been noted on their website. And that's not even including the people who have actually sent in emails. I had a cumulative from both videos. I had at least 3, maybe 350 people who noted that they had sent in an email. So I'm pretty sure they're also bogged down by that. So this is actually kind of nice. I'm going to scroll through some of the other things that people have posted. Someone said, I made a comment with the name IC Wiener and the SEC posted it. When it comes to trying to get the next bull run, maybe not a good idea to post jokes, because the SEC will just think that we're all a bunch of 16-year-olds just trying to, make fun of them and trying to get things listed. I mean, it all kind of helps in the end. But these are some of these are some of the more ominous ones, and this is why I had a mini call to arms, if you will. Because I read comments like this and I was like, we're going to have a major problem. This one says, to whom it may concern, the introduction of this rule change is a very ominous step forward, not only for world finance, but also for the world as a whole. We are actually at a stage where a government body is seriously considering legitimizing bits of code as something of value, safe value, cash backed by the world's governments, or even stocks backed by entire companies, products, business models, and people. And cryptocurrencies are oxymoronic terms when placed side by side. Someone else said this seems like a bad idea. Barely anything that has been built on the underlying asset outside of the exchanges, and a lot of hopium. A lot of speculation and bad market behavior. So this is, when it comes to people trying to badmouth the cryptocurrency space, we have to remain vigilant. This is why I said, I understand you may have 35,000 Cardano, or you may be the owner of 500,000 Tron, and you may be proud about that, but please take moments to just come together. Everything doesn't have to be a battle. Everything doesn't have to be a toxic space where you are, yes, I've seen it, calling people the N-word or other slurs because they're not holding the coin that you hold. We have people like this who are literally trying, when you post something like this, the SEC, they've been rejecting crypto futures and even ETFs for quite some time. And then when they're already skeptical about it, and you have people like this, they may not be the most well-spoken people in the entire world, but when they put that fear into the government's heart, the government probably takes these more seriously than other people posting, whatever the whole comment portion of it is over. But we have to worry about a lot of people like this until crypto is, and I mean like destructively mainstream, to the point where you can literally go into a shop and ask them for a cup of coffee, and they ask you, do you want to pay in Cardano, Tron, Bitcoin, or XRP? We have to stick together. This is incredibly important. As of now, I can't say if things are looking up or down for the cryptocurrency space, but there seems to be a lot of, there are a lot more good comments than there are bad comments. I am literally crossing my fingers and toes right now, hoping that this is approved. It is widely believed that this could be approved because of the, not the hype, but because of the energy that we have behind it. We will see. I think it's August 10th is the date where we should receive some type of news. Let's see if this all goes through. But really, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, a really strong thank you to everyone who actually posted on things like this. I told you guys many times before. I think I was talking about being inside of a cafe or a restaurant. It may seem silly at the time, but ask those people, do you accept Bitcoin? Do you accept Ethereum? because eventually they end up, they end up looking into it. I've had a couple of cafes and restaurants around here that actually end up accepting cryptocurrencies just because you ask. So it only takes a minute to do things like this. Whenever other things like this will come up, and they definitely will come up when it comes to getting something proposed or being able to message someone if you want something to be passed, definitely do it. It takes a minute of your time. Do it while you're in the bathroom. I don't care where you are. It only takes a couple of seconds. Oh, actually, on this note, something very important as well. Please don't spam them. Please don't send hateful comments because they're not adding what you want them to add. If you are already on Coinbase, you are actually able to send them a message through their messaging service, and you're able to suggest coins that you would like to be listed. Please do this in a nice manner, because if they get people from a certain coin cursing them out, telling them that they're idiots and you should be listing this because so and so and so, get with the times, blah, 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 whatever I don't know what people are saying on the internet these days. They actually look into it. I've messaged them a while before about adding certain coins. And I think one of them is actually one of the coins that they are thinking about potentially listing. You're actually able to message them, like I said, for at least one of the 5 coins that they are thinking of listing. You can actually message them and tell them, I think it would be a good fit because I have used this coin for quite some time and I find it really good too, because, they actually, you may think that they may not listen, but companies like this follow the money. And if they see, they get 10,000 emails from a bunch of people around the world saying, hey, I think you should list Stellar, or maybe you should look into adding Cardano because they're doing X, Y, and Z. They're truly decentralized. Whatever you feel about the coins that you own, they will actually listen. And this is also how you can participate not only in the market, but in the entire cryptocurrency space. It takes a minute of your time to be able to do something like this. For those who have not signed up to Coinbase, I know Coinbase is not the most liked, but we more or less really don't have a choice until other places kind of open up when it comes to a company that can list something that can cause a crypto asset to be able to skyrocket in value. That's the way I'll put it. At the moment, it is definitely Coinbase. If you have not signed up to Coinbase, there is there's a link in the description below for you to sign up for it. This wasn't me boasting about Coinbase. Believe me, it was not. It's just about taking part in the cryptocurrency sector and exactly how you can push the entire market forward. You literally have seen exactly what all of this has done over the course of a 2-week period. And last up, Wanchain is not something that you ever really hear about in the cryptocurrency space. Amber Baldet, who is the former JP Morgan blockchain program lead and current CEO of Clovery, has expressed her doubts about the proliferation of blockchain protocols. She said each of these blockchains speaks a different language. She said that in April, getting different blockchains to talk with one another has become a pressing issue as more and more protocols pop up. We have EOS, Tezos, Neo, Cardano, not to mention the 2 incumbent giants, Bitcoin and Ethereum. The growing interoperability problem may be meeting its match. On Monday, the Beijing and Austin-based startup Wanchain announced the live release of its protocol version 2.0, which allows for decentralized transactions between its blockchains and Ethereum using a form of atomic swap. With this announcement, Wanchain has become one of the first protocols to demonstrate the viability of cross-chain transactions. The project has been linking blockchains linking blockchains its core focus, with the aim of enabling use cases like multi-asset ICOs and better decentralized exchanges, the latter of which has been the goal of a growing number of startups. Not going to talk about how much they raised. That's not really that important either. Pretty much what it comes down to is that at the middle end of 2017, we had a lot of talk about atomic swaps and how they were going to be the future. I don't know much about Wanchain, but I like that they have, it said somewhere in the article, I think I forgot to read it. It pretty much comes down to that at the moment, they're only allowed to swap between Wanchain and Ethereum. Totally fine. We're going to get to a point potentially within the next 2 or 3 years where you can actually just hold your favorite cryptocurrency and you'll be able to actually swap between it in relative ease in a number of seconds. And this is what we need, or what will bring the cryptocurrency space to the final mainstream. There are a lot of things that a lot of people are working on. I'm not a developer, but I do give these guys a literal thumbs up simply because this is literally the future. And being able to swap between coins is going to be very interesting, or very needed, because this will also leave out the need for having certain exchanges. If you want to swap between, you know, this coin, whatever the case might be, this is also very interesting news. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys got something from it. Hope we can find a way to be more united. I think it's just how things are, but you know, it doesn't hurt to be nice to other people. It is literally free. Doesn't cost you a cent. Hope you guys have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you for watching and or listening, depending on how you gather the information. As always, make sure to do your own research. I've noticed a lot of other people in the comment section have actually been doing their own research, and they offer great points of advice because they have been reading about what they have their money in. Your wallet will thank you. And I thank you once again for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.